The zippers are fairly small, you know, and pulling something out of there. I mean, I'm sure some people can. Cat brand fleece-lined canvas jeans. Now, these canvas pants slash jeans, they're in a jean style, like 5-pocket type with the coin pouch here, fleece lined in the coin pouch. It's fleece lined everywhere, so technically even in this waistband you can kind of feel the fleece in there. The black colorway has the brown fleece on the inside. These are a 29 or a 30 by 29, 98% cotton, 2% elastane, made in Bangladesh. These are the only pants I think I've ever owned since I guess I was maybe like a young teenager, where I've used a size 30 and I can actually fit in them. And not just because of the waist, because I think in a lot of jeans these days I can fit into size 30 waist, because they'll usually measure closer to 32. Waist measured 16.5 inches across, so that's a 33-inch waist. But the reason why I usually can't fit into jeans with a 30 waist is because the thigh measurement is typically really small. Thigh comes out to just over 12.5 on a lot of jeans, even straight cut jeans. 501s just barely fit my thighs, and I have to size up in the waist. These are a canvas pant, not denim jean. The black does take a lot of lint and stuff, which is fine. It looks way worse on camera, of course. They did fade super fast, as you can see. I'm not sure if you can, but let's see. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the camera, but it looks like there's like a brown spot there and kind of there on the legs. And that's because it is UV damaged already. It is sun faded on the back too. It's dirty from throwing it on the ground here. I don't really care. They're kind of work pants anyway. Bar tacked Caterpillar branding on the belt loop, 5 belt loop design, thicker in the back. I don't mind that at all. It looks fine. You can cut it off with a seam ripper if you wanted to. They also have more branding right here, which I think is kind of nice. It's just a rivet. It's a yellow rivet. The rest are like black rivets. I'm also wearing the tan slash khaki colorway, which has black fleece on the inside. Honestly, throwing it on the ground with that dirt made it look kind of better. I'm not gonna lie, because these things look freaking grungy with the UV damage. I took these out into like a sandstorm, dust storm a couple of times. I thought they were just dirty, and then after I washed them I realized they're sun faded, and it looks pretty bad on black. It happened pretty quickly. But with these ones, I've worn them a little bit less, but they've held up way better in terms of appearance. These come out to 28.5-inch inseam. You know, typically and personally, I prefer 100% cotton most of the time. But with jeans or canvas pants like this, the 2% elastane is pretty nice. I really don't mind it. I think I'm kind of growing back into synthetics. I used to be completely okay with them. Then at one point, I was pretty much all about natural materials. And now I'm back at a point where it's like, you know what? This stuff does have its utility. It is nice, like it feels nice against the skin. Very nice, this fleece. The pocket bags, synthetic, kind of poly feeling, polyester. Ample size, not too big, but not too small. Back pockets are fleeced as well, like I mentioned before. All of the canvas has fleece backing to it. It's basically bonded fleece material. One thing of note I would say is the zippers are fairly small, YKK zippers, but they're like real tiny. The front rise is not too low, I wouldn't say. Front rise came out to 10.5 inches, just like my Levi's 541 athletic taper fit jeans, but the zipper section is fairly small. You can't really just use this zipper with keeping the button buttoned up, you know, and pulling something out of there. I mean, I'm sure some people can, but man, no, dog. You gotta really unbutton the whole thing to use them, which is okay. Honestly, that's not a big deal. It's just if you're wearing a belt, unbuttoning it makes it a little bit more of a hassle, because then you gotta undo your belt. Rivets are nothing special. I do like that they're black on the inside as well as the outside. And it's interesting because I really prefer the rise on like Levi 501s and the Wranglers, which are closer to 11 and 11.5 respectively. But 10.5 seems to work just fine. I mean, I guess you can see, like, if I'm not tucking my shirt in, you can probably see a little bit of my underwear, but obviously my shirt would be out then, covering it. So in that sense, it's fine. But I do prefer higher rises typically. But I haven't had any complaints wearing either of these two things. They're comfy, feel good. The leg opening came out to 8.5 inches, which is pretty nice. I prefer wider leg openings over tapered ones, since I prefer ultimately kind of straight cut jeans. They don't have to be like a truly straight, since most straight cuts actually do taper slightly, but as long as it's straight enough. But yeah, I mean, nicely done. You can see the inside, bar tacked for the rear pockets, chain stitching. Cat brand is kind of cool, I guess. It's way cooler when it's just cat. I guess because cats are way cooler than caterpillars. But obviously this is like a construction company, right? Everybody knows cat brand in the US, at least, in terms of like commercial equipment, not necessarily clothing. But I guess, you know, they're kind of like Carhartt these days. They make their stuff overseas like Carhartt does. Have like very little pride in making stuff in the US. I'm just joking, kind of, but I do prefer US made stuff. But here I am, you know, buying stuff that's not made in the US, right? They, I think, may be a Costco exclusive, these fleece-lined pants by Cat brand. And would I recommend them? I think I would not recommend the black color, even though it's probably the most popular one. And of course that just comes down to being because of the fact that it sun fades so insanely fast. I've had plenty of black stuff, black canvas, black denim that hasn't had UV damage like that, and certainly not that fast. I've only owned both of these pairs for maybe I guess since around the middle of fall, and right now it's the beginning of April, so the beginning of spring. I did wear the black ones a lot. I wore these ones a lot. I wore them both a lot, but ultimately they've served me, and I definitely don't dislike them.